Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 49 entitled Hypersensitivity. Alright, so as usually, almost, we're gonna define first the concept, what we are talking about regarding hypersensitivity. Okay, so to be sure that we are on the same page. Secondly, we will try to see the reason for being, the scope, what's the field of application of this topic. Third, we combine, let's say, some techniques and also some advice to try to improve your condition of life if you are hypersensitive. Okay, and last we will do a short test with 20 questions to visualize if you are one of them, and also what's the degree of it, because there is different shades, of course, and also if you have within your environment you have some people who are hypersensitive, and or your partner, member of your family, your parents, your children, and so on and so forth. All right, so what is concretely hypersensitivity? Okay, as you can see, understand, hyper, very sensitive. Okay, it's not common, very sensitive. It is hypersensitive. It is, let's say, like hyperactive. Okay, it's specificity of character. It's not a disease, not at all. It is just like this. Some people are not. Okay, it's not evolving with the time. You were born with it. Okay, so it's built in. Okay, in a certain extent, and it is a kind of you have, for those who are hypersensitive, this is a filter which is very sharp. Okay, so your senses are very developed. Okay, the five senses. Okay, seeing, touching, and so on, smelling, and by the six senses. Okay, intuition. Okay, you feel. You have a kind of third eye quite developed. Naturally, you feel things. You feel people, like empathy. Okay, so you can feel people, energy, atmosphere, and so on. Okay, so it can be too much. It can overwhelm people. Okay, so you feel and you attract. I mean, and the filter is very sharp. So you have a lot of activities of the senses. So it can be very tiring. Okay, first. Secondly, is the fact, and then you develop a lot of intuition. Secondly, and especially, is the fact that you have a lot of, developed senses, but in parallel of that, a lot of emotions. Okay, for everything. There is interconnection with the world, and you're not, let's say, out of it. You are part of it, and you feel things as an extension of your own consciousness. Okay, the pain of human beings, an animal, and so on, you feel it. Okay, so you have sometimes you are overwhelmed by emotions. So, and it can be difficult. Okay, so concretely, I comparing, because I need to share with you, I am hypersensitive. Okay, so from 0, let's say 2 years old, I'm aware, conscious, till 18 years old, my life, okay, I'm a kid and playful and so on, in a certain access, and in parallel of that, I'm always feeling kind of nostalgia. I was feeling the pain, the difficulties of some countries in Ethiopia during the famine, injustice and so on, and I had difficulties to live normally. Okay, normally, like innocent kid and so on. No, I was, I was a little bit sad. I was always with a certain sorrow, and I could not explain, I could not share, and it was quite painful. So. And then after 18 years old, I started to be happy in my life, and then I really managed my hypersensitivity when I was 30 years old, so that's to say almost 12 years ago. Okay, so what I try to explain is it is like a knife with double face or double H. Okay, what does it mean? It means that it can be a tool, okay, for let's say helping you to cut your food and to eat or to do arts and craft and so on, okay, but it can also kill someone. It depends on the user and the using, okay, so very important. It can be a nightmare, it can be a paradise. If you don't manage it, it's a disaster. It can be really difficult to live, it can be painful and so on. It can affect and destroy everything, and your life can be really difficult to handle and to manage. That's a matter of fact, okay? But well managed, when you neutralize your emotion and you can, let's say, it's not that you are not sensitive anymore. It's just the fact that when you have an emotion, you digest it, and also you are able, you know, like a dam, okay, refraining the water, and you can have consciously this filter to let enter or not, okay. And once you can manage more, that this become literally a fruit of a real treasure, okay. It allows you to be creative, to be intuitive, to have a certain artistic grace. You know, you are more in the sacred feminine dimension. Your more abilities for mediumity of channeling the contact as an intercessor with the hereafter, or the guides, or the invisible world, the energies and so on, like magnetism and so on. The hypersensitive have also a certain art of diplomacy, a good communication, because they feel people. They have a good capacity of empathy. Empathy is the capacity to project into the complexion, the complexity of the person, the personality of the person, to understand the different layers, the fears, the inner child, and so on. And you can really much more tune, adapt with a notion of symbiosis with the communication, and to match with the ins and the outs of the person. For example, the reasons for being, the life motives, and so on. And you can establish, let's say, more diplomacy and so on. So it's very, it's a real treasure for all connection with friendship. You can be a mediator, you can be a diplomat, you can for company and management and so on, to team building. It's so it's really precious for that. It's usually also it's holistic, okay, global overall perception. Sorry, it means that overview. Okay, most of the time, hypersensitive, they have a certain detachment, and they have the big picture of the elements. Okay, this, and they can make links easily, some interconnection, entanglements, okay, or yeah, common threads with things, allowing to solve more problems. Okay. They see some connection that a lot of people don't see normally, okay? So this is really precious for that. A lot of values, that to say honesty and so on. Most of hypersensitive, yeah, they are honest, they are faithful, they are, you know, entire, okay? So this is one of the great treasure. Usually very smart, very good analytic, okay, analyze the data and so on, to manage them, to catch them, to analyze, to synthesize and so on, okay, this, and also smartness of heart, of emotions and so on. So it's a two combo allowing to be more, let's say, maybe, let's say, it's to understand better life in the absolutes, okay? That's one of the very important points as well as a treasure. The capacity to concentrate quite a long time, to be focused, okay? And also because you are passionate, the hypersensitive needs patience, and to, because then this is the other point, needs a sense, a meaning of things, meaning of life, meaning of, you know, kind of quest. It's very rare that hypersensitive is just like eating chips and just not questioning the word and so on and so forth. Okay, so I would say, to resume, because there is different ones, An hypersensitive is a kind of, let's say, hyperhuman. Not superwoman, not Superman, it's not that, okay? Not Wonder Woman. It's just very human, with very human ability. And we can, not reproach, but we can see that some people, sometimes they look to be for different reasons, education, sensitivity, they knew war and so on. Okay, we can understand by empathy, but some people became literally like animals, you know, they have no emotion anymore, no value, lawless people and so on. So this is hyperhuman and is probably one of the key members for the building of the new era, the new society 2.0, more based on collaboration, respect of people, difference, nature, everything. Okay, so the collective consciousness and so on and so forth. Because I didn't precise, but actually, why it's so important to understand that 25% of the humanity is hypersensitive. Okay, 25%, probably more in Western countries than developing country, probably. But it's the proportion is even much more in the spirituality of opening, like coaching of life and so on. Why? Because they are on the quest of meaning, as I said. So probably that's among spirituality or self-development, they are 1/3 of half of the people. So what does it mean? It means that you have a lot of chance to be one of them, or to have a child or a parent or a partner or a member of your friend or a member of your team, of your association and so on and so forth. So it's important to know how do they handle like this. You can also maybe to tune better, to match more and so on. But once again, this is a treasure as long as it is well managed. Otherwise, it can become a nightmare. What's the problems? You can be overwhelmed by your senses, by your emotion, and you cannot manage anymore because it's too much. Okay, you are suffocating. Okay, Okay, it can be dangerous. You can be depressed. Okay, you can be depressed. You can be basically there is high potential of that. Okay, why? Because you don't like the world as it is, the people, and you receive too much, and you need to. It's difficult to handle and to manage. You can overreact with stress and anxiety. Okay, which is not pleasant neither. Addiction, we saw in the key regarding addiction, a lot of hypersensitive, the proportion to be, the potential to be addict is larger. Okay, so why? Because to flee, to run away, to be out of too much overthinking, too much emotion, also the quest of unity, to make part of the great wall and so on. This can be different reasons. Difficulties to manage the criticals, critical people and so on is really difficult, the critics in general, because you are affected, and as long as, for example, you don't like when people don't like you, okay, this is a matter of fact. If 19 people in a group like you, but only one, because of their own problems, maybe person is not confident and so on, the person reproach you, she just has a problem, an inner problem, not necessarily with you, it could be someone else and so on. But in that case, you could be, let's say, you feel embarrassed and so you don't feel good because you just focus on this person, this critical aspect, and you don't see the global positive things. Okay, so it can be difficult. A feeling of not to be understood, okay, to be excluded. This is really some specific standard of character of hypersensitivity. If I have to resume with 5 pillars, one is the hyper stimulation of the senses, and thereby you are more tired often. Secondly is the interconnection, the social interconnection, because it's difficult, because you hold most of the time a mask. You pretend to be someone and so on, because you need to hide your emotion. You cannot cry like this when you see a puppy and so on, because people will think, oh, it's so weak, oh, it's okay. This is the problem. You flee, you run away from the conflicts you don't like, you avoid them, so sometimes you don't defend your interests, your position, the injustice because of that, okay, so it can be a problem as well. Yeah, you feel most of the time not understood, that's a matter of fact. A lot of hypersensitive are afraid about love because of the dependence and so on, okay, it can happen. All right, so let's see 20 different techniques in quote mark, and also some tips to try to solve the problems linked to hypersensitivity in order to make, let's say, to activate the potential of the treasure, the different treasures, and the potential, the full potential of this hypersensitivity. So the first one, very important to sleep properly. Okay, referring to the key we saw 29. Okay, sleeping is important. Why? Because it's happened very often. Need a lot. The hypersensitive needs a lot to sleep, and then suddenly they have insomnia. Okay, why? Because they're overthinking and so on. So really to manage. That's why, because there is a lot of solicitation of the senses activated. So it's normal to be tired and exhausted, sometimes overwhelmed and so on. So it is important to see, to know yourself for the quality of sleeping. Secondly, calmness. Most of hypersensitive need that, okay? Agitation and so on, need to be calm, okay? And thereby, to calm like this, you just have silence and so on, and you feel better. It's like reactivate or recharge your batteries in a certain extent. Third, which is linked also to be alone sometimes, okay? It's like, doesn't mean that you are, you necessarily are a hermit, okay? That's to say, you just want to be out of the society, but you need that sometimes, okay? It's like you are a sailor, you need sometimes to land and to just to appreciate an island and so on. This is the same, this is a metaphor, but the same principle. Okay, and why it's so important also to know, if you are in a couple with your partner is like this, she or he is like this, it's important to respect these moments. Okay, he needs or she needs that. She needs to breathe with herself or himself. This is important. Secondly, to know how to manage yourself, in the sense, no need necessarily to watch movie very violent or always sad. You can do sometimes if you like, but what's the point? Personally, I watch with the parents of my business partner and excellent friend 1 year ago, something like this. It was in France. It was Django, okay, the movie with DiCaprio. It's super violence, okay? And after 40 minutes, I say, okay, I go to bed. I stop, sorry, I cannot anymore. And it was too violent for me. And okay, it's fiction, but it can be inspired by a true story. I didn't know, but anyway, it's probably an archetype of what's happened in the past with slavery. It's horrible. And then I kept some images and so on. The concept for a few weeks, and I was a bit traumatized. Okay, so when it's like this, I know myself, so I see the syndromes, the signal, oh, warning, warning, you don't feel good. Okay, no need to force myself. No need to. It's a torture. For me, it's ridiculous. Okay, so I don't like that. Okay, I run away, and I say to them nicely, it's not. I don't like your company. I don't like the movie. It's shit. No, it's not down for me. That's it. Next. You see, so this is important to learn about that. Second, second point linked to that, this is the media. We saw with the key discernments. no need to know everything. The Sufi Rumi said, the real knowledge is to know what you need to ignore. Okay? Do you need to know that presently there is a rape in Sao Paulo? There is, I don't know, someone a murder in Quito or wherever in the world, in Lesotho and so on, wherever in the world. Probably it's happening, and even here now in Bali. But maybe a few hours before, someone has been. Who knows? And do I need to know that? You know, so this is not to be selfish. It's just to manage. Okay. The world is made of many, many horrible things like this. So no need necessarily to focus on that. This is really an advice. Try to visualize the positive things in general, the beautiful things of life. This life is like a half empty, half full glasses. Okay, so focus more on the half full. Okay, this is the positiveness. Okay, referring to the different keys I gave you. Okay, so you have 30 keys. Okay, one video in between 20 and 40, and then between 40 and in between 20 and 21st key, and then in the video between 40 and 41 you have in all 60 keys. And if you read the free book that you can download from our website, Sage Passage in English, Utopia, you have 65 keys to be happy, to be positive. Okay, so try to go on that way. I mean, if you feel it, if you like it, or otherwise, be honest with you. No, I like to suffer. I like to see horrible things. I like to see blood and accident and so on. Okay, do it. But if you think that you're suffering because of that, try to preserve yourself. No need to. It's not necessarily blinders, but this is just to filter things, filter the information. Very important. Try to be with, to be surrounded by, let's say, tolerant people. They can understand the fact that you have emotion, that you want to cry sometimes, and they are not saying, "Oh, what this is so weak." No, people with certain flexibility, open-minded, and so on. I think is really important. Important also to have. I know that we don't choose necessarily our friends, but to have hypersensitive person in your environments, also to share the experience, the evolution, and so on. And but be careful, not only hypersensitive people. Why? Because you know, it's like the process of alcoholic. If you have only alcoholic around you, or former alcoholic, your life is around that. So you have more chance to reinforce your problem. I mean, I'm not saying that hypersensitivity is a problem, but I mean, just focusing on that. Okay, so it's not the finality. The goal is just to perceive, to discharge the negative dimension that's making you suffering. One is done. Okay, next we explore, develop our treasures. That's another, but then it's not a finality. No need necessarily, you know, to. This is not a diploma. This is not something, you know. So it's important to have a good middle way. The middle way application. Like personally, I recommend not only to have spiritual friends, but all types of perception and so on, because for me personally, this is just humble testimony. It allows me to enlarge my perspective, perception, and so on. Anyway, just an advice. This is important to be out, to decipher, to see, to analyze who are narcissistic perverse. Okay, perverse, and this because you are the best prey for them. Okay, they will see, they will be nice at the beginning, and then the goal is, like perversion, is to try to make you suffer, to explore you, to enslave you emotionally, affectively, and so on. So be careful about that. Otherwise, you risk to reactivate this notion of victim, executor, you know, and always like this. So try to run away when you analyze someone like this, and it's really dangerous for you. Okay, it's like a goat, a sheep would just run away if the goat is see a wolf is the same principle. Be careful. Okay, it's nature. This is important also to detach from overthinking, too much analyzing, too much try to be detached and also to feel more things. Okay, so you're gonna tell me, yeah, but too much emotion. It's not emotion. Is this point is just to feel things, the flow of life as we see, and then this is implied, very important, the notion of applying the mindfulness, to apply and to do regularly meditation. It will allows you to ground, to empty your mind for meditation, and then for mindfulness, it will allows you to be more focused on the present time. The present is the gift, grasp it now, okay? And to avoid to overthink about the future, the past, and she said me that, this, and you feel anxious or stressed and so on. So it's avoid this, okay? Meditation and mindfulness. So this is important to, in this application of mindfulness, is to be detached of the scenes and so on. Always using this notion I told you of piece of theater. This is the gigantic masquerade that we call life. Is a piece of theater. Everybody is playing a role. The mask, the personality is the mask of the Greek dramaturgy. Okay, so let's consider that someone attacked you. Just try to visualize why is doing that. She is doing that. Maybe she's not self-confident. So this is like to defend. Okay, just to have a protection, a shield. Okay, it can be because a projection of the own shadow. Okay, so analyze like this. Nothing is personal. This is one of the four Toltec agreements, is nothing is personal. Try to take it like this. This is his problem. He's jealous, she's jealous. You didn't do wrong. Okay, maybe you analyze yourself, you self-analyze. Maybe you did wrong, but if not, don't torture yourself because of that. Okay, he could do the same exactly with someone else. So it's not you as a human being, is he has problem with himself, so he put the black sunglasses, so he see life black. Okay, so I mean in the sense of negative. All right, so really important. Do some sport, very important to express yourself, to discharge your energy, your emotion and so on. Boxing if you need, boom, boom, boom. It's so good to punch in the punching ball sometimes and so on. You release, go to run a lot and so on, and give all what you have. Do some extreme sports and also basic sport. Go for running, to swim, this kind of thing, to stretch and then feel released. Okay, this is very important to manage your emotions. Art, there is many art, music, painting and so on. Express yourself through art. It will allows you to release also some negativity, some bad energy, or just self-expression of beautiful things. You're suffering of the world, draw the world you want, be the change that you want to see in the world, as Gandhi said, for instance. Try to list your skills and competencies and try to remind them to yourself very often. Okay, I'm this. Okay, it's not narcissistic, of course not. It's just to be self-confident. This is really important. We'll see a key with, later. The next one, by the way. Very important, don't regret to be hypersensitive. Why? Because you cannot. Okay, you were born like this, is like this. We are born with this race, with this heritage, cultural and so on, is like this. Okay, then we can adjust, we can manage it. Okay, and once again, it can be a treasure. So don't regret. It will become, when you discharge the negativity and you manage it, it will be a treasure. Try to be convinced about that, and then you will see it's really like an amazing opportunity. Okay, don't refrain your emotions. You need to cry. Okay, you need to go to pee. You go to pee. You go to poo. Oh, you went to poo. Oh, come on, the kids are doing that. Okay, physiologically we all do. Okay, so it's bad. It's like this. You need to fart. You fart. Okay, not in front of everybody, of course. Discreet, it's obvious, elegance, but. Okay, it's the same. We are all humans, so this is important. You need to cry. Okay, and those who are like bulldog, don't give a shit. Okay, this is their own way. They are laughing. exactly this, okay? But try to express your emotions. Don't take, otherwise you somatize and you risk to create some contrariety, anxiety, and disease thereby, okay? So very important to release, to recharge. Or you just say, okay, you lock down, you just observe that's your emotion, okay, you run away. I mean, you go out, you go in your room, you go somewhere else, and yeah, you shout, you cry inside, and then feel good, like going to toilets, you flush, run away. That's the point. Don't keep your emotions. This is an advice. Try to visualize your emotion like signals, okay? Why I'm reacting like this, why I'm touching like this is due to this personally, or this is because of him, and so on. So just to analyze like signal and so on. As I told you, don't go, I feel bad, I feel like stressed, and I don't like, I don't force myself. It's not a challenge. I don't want to finish the movie, and I run away. I just leave. Okay, goodbye, good night, and it's not done for me. It's like this, okay? This is, I mean, important for me. This is important to express your emotion with other people, with empathy. You know, for instance, you touch me, and because when you did these remarks and so on, honestly, it's hurt me. So I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. Maybe you didn't perceive. I mean, it was not intentional, but honestly, sorry about that. But it touched me, and so, oh, sorry, I didn't know, and so on. You know, instead of keeping that bad emotion, and then you will be more detached from the relationship, friendship, couple, or whatever. But try to express yourself. It's not bad. It's like this. Most of the problem of the world since the beginning of, the dawn of humanity, this is a problem of misunderstanding and communication. So be smarter, be diplomat, just put your feeling on the table, okay? And also you can ask to people, why you're not talking to me? You need to be silent, you need to your own space and so on. Like this, you know that the person doesn't reproach you anything. Okay, you feel safety. We all need our, let's say, free zone, our zone of comfort. Okay, I know that you just need a bit of time. Okay, it's not against me, it's nothing. Okay, I feel comfortable. Okay, and on the other way around, if he say to me that, she say to me that, it's not a big deal. I just express what I had on my heart. I don't keep it, otherwise I'm gonna somatize, and then it's crystal clear. We clean up, we put all on the table, we just express, I perceived it, I say that, but not voluntarily, and so on and so forth, and then next, okay? And we don't keep burden like this, and it's heavier and heavier and heavier, and then we have a backbone full of, stones, heavy, and sometimes we walk with it for over years and years, and then we don't know what's inside anymore, but we keep it, okay? So it's ridiculous. I mean, it's waste of time, waste of energy, and this is not super pleasant also. Try to preserve yourself with love. It doesn't mean that don't be invest into love and the couple and so on, but always, this is exactly the Buddhist philosophy. This is a full commitment, a full involvement, and despite a certain detachment. I'm gonna do a parallel with that. It's like when I told you the chaos techniques. I wake up every single morning, seeing the volcano, thinking that I can die because we can have a tsunami here or earthquake in Bali. This is a matter of fact, it's reality. And despite that, I don't have any anxiety, I'm not stressed, I just embracing life. Thank you, life. I know I can lose everything like this, but I'm completely honoring life due to that. So I'm completely into my couple, okay? I love my wife, I love her, I give everything, but I'm not always on her back, on her shoulder. And same for her. She, we can be sometimes 1 month without she's traveling, or I am traveling, and so on. We are not destroyed. We are not dying. Okay, we are connected at distance, so it's okay. We can just give a call and so on. So, and this is super important because it's so difficult, painful, just to I cannot live without her, and this is so frustrating, so to be too much different. And also the fact for the good balance of the couple, if you are making the other one always suffering, like not suffering, sorry, suffocating, always on the back, but leave me alone a little bit, I just need 5 minutes to breathe. Okay, I just want to read a book. Okay, no need, we read together. You know, to have your, there is no perfect miraculous recipe, there is only miraculous adaptation. So you have to feel it, you have to experience, oh, sorry, I love my sweetheart, but I just need my space, my time, okay, just to read my book, my music, and so on. I just want to be with myself. This is not against you, it is just, I need you, need that, and it will be a springboard to be more in it, to be more involved, okay? You understand, really, to be full committed, but in a certain extent, a certain detach. Also, because the simple thing I told you, maybe it can shock some of you, it can happen that you lose your partner, the partner can pass away, the partner can run away, find someone. This is life. Okay, so you're gonna refrain to live for living normally because there is a risk to die. Okay, so every single morning when I see the volcano and I think about the tsunami and the earthquake, I'm gonna say, oh, I'm so anxious if it's happened, so I'm not enjoying life. It would be ridiculous, right? So this is the same principle. Everything can disappear in 1 second. Okay, you can go take your car and boom, accident. It can happen all the time. If we're all focusing on that, we don't live anymore. Okay, so the more you live, the more you die. Okay, so it's the principle, I mean the simple basic rule of the game. Okay, like smoking kills. Okay, on the cigarettes, the packets of cigarettes, living kills. It's a matter of fact. So just be detached from that. It means you are completely full in it. Well, let's do a short test for which I'm gonna invite you to probably put on pause this video because you need more time to think about it and so on. So 20 questions. You just write yes or no. It's not maybe yes, maybe not. No, it's not half percentage. It's yes or no. It's binary. Okay. First question. Have you always felt different, like an alien in life? First. Secondly, are you sensitive to criticism? Third, are you upset if someone doesn't like you? Fourth, you cannot stand injustice. 5, you cannot stand hypocrisy. Of course, nobody will think, oh, I love hypocrisy, I love, but it means that some people can also, they don't care, okay, they don't like, but they don't care, okay, it's like this, it's life, okay, but hypersensitivity can be affected and can have difficulty to live because of that. Are you an idealist? Okay. 7, are you creative? 8, do you think a lot / overthinking? 9, do you have, let's say, like moments you are overwhelmed with love, like love or positive emotion, like, oh my goodness, and you see just a butterfly, you see a puppy, and you're, oh my God, and you're so touched, and you want to kiss, you want to hug, and so on. Do you have some like ecstatic trance, okay, punctually, like a big bang of emotion? Do you have that sometimes? Not every day, of course, necessarily, but do you have it's happened to you without, let's say, rational reason? Are your senses highly developed? Question mark. Do you have tears easily coming? Okay. When you are sad or when you are very happy. Okay. Are you upset for a sad story or something negative you saw on TV? Do you hate conflicts and you try to avoid them? 14, do you pay a lot of attention to other people? And either you pay more attention to others and then you think about yourself. Okay. 15, Do you prioritize your partner's pleasure over yours? Or say you think first for you the pleasures of your partners, for sex, for anything. You prepare the food and so on, and then if you still have, you think about yourself. Okay. Are you faithful in your friendship in general? 17, do you prefer weak people, and to protect the weak and the defenseless people, like, the window and orphan people, the philosophy of focusing on people with weak and also with problems and so on? Are you focusing more on that? Because some people, they just run away and they don't want, they avoid this kind of people, or they don't care. Huh? Do you like to be on time? 18. 19, as a child, you needed to please your parents and have attention, parents or teacher and so on, but especially parents. 20, last question, at school, were you worried about being punished and getting a bad grades? Okay, and you needed recognition with your teacher and so on. Okay, I invite you to think about that, to write yes or no. Yes is 1 point. No is 0. Okay, yes is 1, no is 0. It's not to cheat and so on, it's just to try to visualize. So the results, if the results is between 18 and 20, you are highly hypersensitive. Okay, and if you are in between, your score is in between 15 and 17, you are standard hypersensitive. Okay, if your score is in between 12 and 14, you are slightly hypersensitive. And in between 9, you score in between 9 and 11, you are, quote mark, just sensitive. You are not hypersensitive, you are basically sensitive. And under, you are other. Okay? So just try to visualize, or you can do the test with other people, with friends, with partners, and so on, just to visualize more or less where you are and so on. But once again, keep this in mind. Hypersensitive is not a disease, it's a treasure as long as you manage properly. All right? So this is only one key for you to shape the master key to open up the door of consciousness and harmony and unity, the unity that you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to home and to the dome. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.